Hello everyone, I'd just like to share with you 3 tips that were very helpful when I started to learn to play guitar. For me, changing chords, as I'm sure for most of you, changing chords at the beginning was very difficult and very frustrating. So even if I had only 3 chords like C, D and G, it was like okay, I'm sure you are familiar with this situation. Okay, so 3 tips for you to try to get better at it without too much hassle. Okay, the first tip is the position of your hand. This is extremely important. So important that we sometimes forget, we don't pay attention. Now, if you hold your hand like this and you try to move your fingers, you will find it's quite difficult. Okay, now hold the hand like this and do the same. It's way easier. Okay, so next time you hold your guitar and you're playing chords or even like a solo, no matter what you're doing, remember this. Okay, if you struggle too much to change chords, maybe it's because you're holding the guitar in a really awkward position, so your fingers have a hard time to find their way. They can't find their way, it's difficult for them to move. So just hold the guitar nicely facing the ceiling. That makes, honestly, a huge difference. Just try it. Then the second thing that I suggest is a good tip is when you're practicing, usually let's say that you practice a song and it's C and A minor. That's a good example. It's probably the first 2 chords we'll learn to play. Now, what you're really learning, if you only do this, is you're just learning to change one finger, to move one finger. So playing the A minor chord is easy only if first you were playing the C chord. But let's say, for example, you were playing an F chord and now you want to play A minor. That's like learning a game from the very beginning, like it's a new thing you're learning. Okay? So instead of just practicing to change from one chord to the other one by moving one finger, learn to play the chords from the very scratch, which means you're holding the hand like this, and then you think about the C chord. So you play the C chord, and you do it again. C chord, you do the C chord. A minor, you do the A minor. G chord, G. Okay? This way, really, what you're learning is to play the chord in any position, which means that no matter what chord you were playing before, you'll be ready to play the next chord, instead of just focusing like, okay, I can only change to A minor if I'm playing a C. Some songs don't have this sequence. Also, sometimes for our head, it's too difficult to learn to play the chord sequence and actually master the right hand as well. That's why we stop, because we can't longer focus on the rhythm. We have to focus on the fingering. So practice things separately. Practice the left hand, like this, C, D, G, okay? And then also practice the right hand without anything here. So here I'm just becoming familiar with the movement of the right hand. And once you're familiar with what this hand is doing and the left hand is doing, put them together. Always break things down in smaller pieces so you are able to master them. Sometimes it's really difficult to focus on 2 things at a time. So just break it down. Always, no matter if it's chords, scales or anything. Break things down in smaller pieces so you can digest them. Okay? And the last tip is that lots of songs, for example, have really similar chord progressions. Let's say C, A minor, F, G. So again, we become very familiar with these chord progressions. But then what happens when you find another song that doesn't have these chord progressions, or even the chords have a different order? I suggest you to take any song and learn it from the beginning to the end, but also invert the order. So now I'm gonna do G, F, A minor, C. Same chord progression, but you're inverting it, so it's making your brain, it has to think faster in order for you to change between chords. So yeah, get any songs and invert the chord progression, so start from the end, go to the beginning, or just get separate chords, or sometimes even change one or two chords for the sake of practicing, okay, for the sake of variety, so you don't become too bored and your hands don't become too familiar with only this chord sequence. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, keep practicing and don't get despaired. It's not that difficult, but sometimes we just need a couple of tips and a little bit of patience, and things will happen naturally, for sure. Have a good time and see you next time.